Hey, thanks for joining us for another episode of Social Distancing Story Time, coming to you from a new location, from my office / our guest room today. We've had a little bit of a rough day here today. I don't know if I'm thinking other people are feeling it a little bit too, but we had, sometimes we get better at some things and sometimes we get less good at things. And for my littlest kid, who's almost 3, it can be really tough seeing mommy during the day, and then having mommy have to pop back upstairs to do an email or take a call, when all you maybe want to do is have a hug. So it's been a little bit of a temper tantrum day, and we're working through it and trying to take a nap now, and hopefully sleeping it off will help. But I bet some other people are thinking, gee, it's kind of weird to not be in school. It's kind of weird to have mom and dad home or working different hours or not working or whatever. It's a little bit different. So we're doing the best we can. All right, today I've got Babies Love Easter. I said I would read some Easter books this week because Easter's coming so soon, in like a week and a half. Good catch. This one is a lift-a-flap book, which sometimes isn't as much fun if you don't get to lift the flaps yourself. So I'll try and get real close and make it fun, all right? We celebrate spring with pinks and greens and yellows. We wear our nicest shoes and our Easter hats. When I was a kid, I used to love to wear my Easter bonnet, and I had fancy little white gloves. The rain helps the flowers grow, and the sunshine makes a rainbow. Let's hunt for Easter eggs. What's back here? And put them in the basket. There are so many treats like chocolate bunnies. What else? And jelly beans. Those are my favorite. Happy Easter, says who? The Easter Bunny. All right, that was just a short little one. Like I said, we're running out of books here. There's only so many books a home library can have. I can't wait until the town library opens up again, but we may get creative, just do some different groupings of books, because I know my kids like to hear the same books over and over again, especially their very favorite ones. So hopefully some people here do too. All right, this one is Otis by Loren Long. And there's a little bit of trivia with this book that I'll tell you at the end. That means something fun to know about this book. Okay. There was once a friendly little tractor. His name was Otis, and every day Otis and his farmer worked together, taking care of the farm they called home. Otis liked to work. But after working hard all day, Otis was ready to unwind and play. He would ride the rolling hills and skirt Mud Pond down by the corn. He would leapfrog bales of hay and explode through the haystacks. On occasion, he would chase a rabbit or play Ring Around the Rosie with the ducks to the sound of his steady put-puff puttity-chuff. And sometimes at the end of the day, he would just sit under the apple tree and watch the farm below. Okay, remember that picture of him sitting under the apple tree. Every night, tired but happy, Otis would putt-puff into the little stall in the barn that was all his. One night, when Otis was fast asleep, the farmer brought a beautiful baby calf into the barn. The calf bawled and bawled for her mother, but when the sleepy sound of a soft put-puff puttity-chuff came from the next stall, the scared little calf stopped bawling and drifted off to sleep. From that day on, the calf started following the little tractor wherever he went. Put-puff puttity-chuff. She followed him over the rolling hills and down by Mud Pond. She was right behind him, leapfrogging bales of hay. and the calf made their games of Ring Around the Rosie all the better. You see her right in the middle there? Sometimes at the end of the day, the two of them would just sit together under the apple tree and watch the farm below. Otis loved his little calf, and the little calf loved Otis. Remember that picture. Then one day, the farmer surprised everyone with a brand new yellow tractor. "Time to move out, Otis," the farmer said. He took Otis out of the little stall in the barn that was all his and parked him back behind the barn. Then he backed the big yellow tractor into the stall next to the little calf. But the little calf didn't like the big yellow tractor. He had a deep rumbling snore that shook the stall when he slept. There was no one to purr the little calf gently to sleep, no one to spend her days with. And Otis? Otis could not even see his farm as the wheels began to cover his tires. His friend often sat with him, but she could not get him to play like the old days. It was early summer when the farmer discovered a poster. "Who has the prettiest calf in the land? Judges will decide at the county fair and award a fancy blue ribbon to the winner." The farmer knew the answer. He would show the little calf. But on the morning of the fair, the little calf was nowhere to be found. She had wandered down to Mud Pond by the cornfields to cool off. When she waded into the muddy water, her feet sank. With every step, she sank deeper and deeper and deeper. The little calf was stuck in Mud Pond. "Get the hands," the farmer shouted when he saw her. All the farm hands came running with their ropes, but the more they tugged, the more stuck the calf got. "Get the big yellow tractor," the farmer shouted. "He can save her." But the big tractor just scared the little calf. She sank in deeper and deeper. Nearby farmers began to gather. "Then call the fire chief Douglas and the fire truck," the farmer shouted. "They can save our little calf." But the sight of the big red fire truck startled the little calf even deeper. The farmer was fit to be tied. If the farm hands and the big tractor and even Fire Chief Douglas and his fire truck couldn't save the little calf, who could? Who do you think? Suddenly, the little calf's ears perked up. Over the hum of the growing crowd, there came a faint sound in the distance. What do you think it was? A soft, rhythmic purr. Puff, puff, puffity chuff. The crowd turned and looked. The sound became louder. Puff, puff, puffity chuff. And all at once, Otis puffed from around the barn. He turned and headed straight toward Mud Pond. Otis puffed down the rolling hill and pulled right up next to the muddy water's edge. The calf heard her friend's puttering purr and bawled. It was something like a hello. Then, to the sound of his gentle chuff and the amazement of all the people in the crowd, Otis slowly began to circle the pond, kind of like Ring Around the Rosie. He circled, and then the little calf turned and turned, never taking her eyes off her friend. With each ring Otis made around Mud Pond, the muddy grip loosened until the calf was able to stumble out of the pond on her own. The two friends had found each other again. Otis led the calf right down the dusty road toward the village, and everyone threw flowers as they went, following them into town. It looked like a happy parade. No one needed a fancy blue ribbon to tell them that the calf was a special calf. Otis was a special tractor, and the two of them were special friends. From that day on, the farmer discovered that with Otis's puttering purr beside the chicken coop, his chickens laid more eggs. At milking time, with Otis's gentle chuff nearby, his cows produced more milk. On occasion, Otis even got to join the farmer and the big yellow tractor out in the fields. But often at the end of the day, Otis would just sit with his friend under the apple tree and watch the farm below. So that's a front view of that same picture I told you to remember. Does that picture remind you of anything else? A couple of days ago, we read one of Evie's favorite books, and that book is Ferdinand, the bull who liked to sit under that cork tree in Spain and just smell the flowers. And doesn't that kind of look like the place that Ferdinand liked to sit underneath that cork tree? The author of this book, Loren Long, said that that was one of his favorite books when he was a kid. So, that picture, that idea of a cow that liked to sit under the tree and look out over the fields, was kind of like Ferdinand the Bull. So that's your little bit of trivia for you. Okay, this book is called Pomelo Begins to Grow by Ramona Badescu and Benjamin Chaud. And this is a book that we got at my baby shower when I was pregnant with Stasha from one of my friends. I guess it was written by a local author when we used to live in Queens. It was written by someone from Brooklyn. As Pomelo went on his way one morning, he passed an ant, some potatoes, a pebble, a bunch of strawberries, and his favorite dandelion. Curiously enough, the dandelion seemed surprisingly small. That's a small elephant. As small as these strawberries, or this pebble, or this teeny tiny potato? Not to mention this minuscule ant. Holy moly, that is it. It's either a giant ant or a small elephant or both. Pomelo thinks it's time to do a little measuring. Hey, look at that. He's grown. Yippee, yahoo, yay! All at once, Pomelo feels the super, hyper, extra force of the cosmos spreading through him. And maybe something even stronger than that. He wants to do something bigger than he's ever done before. But wait, what's this? Is he already too big for his world? Bonk. And besides, doesn't he have to be medium before he gets big? Well, yes. But would that be medium, medium, big, big medium, or just plain medium? Pomelo's going to have to wait and see as he grows little by little. Look at how little he is. And he's a little worried that he won't grow equally all over. And he wonders what has to happen on the inside for him to grow on the outside. He also asks himself if he will turn gray as he grows up. And then there's the question of if growing up means growing old. And does growing old mean growing wise like his friend Gantok the turtle? Does everyone in the world grow at the same speed, or do some grow more quickly than others? Could it be that one day Pomelo is the biggest of all? Could this story even go on long enough for that to happen? Pomelo needs to make sure he doesn't grow beyond the edges of the page. But seriously, does growing up mean one has to stop clowning around? Pomelo is impatient to turn the page, to see what comes next. Could it be that one day he will do something he hasn't even thought of yet? Designer strawberries. He wonders whether he will be allowed to do whatever he wants when he is completely grown up. And will he still have to do the things that he doesn't want to do at all, like penmanship? Pomelo begins to forget what it was like to be really little. Do you remember what it was like? He also begins to find little ones a bit annoying at times, and adults too. But growing up is also beginning to like things that he didn't like before, and making surprising discoveries, such as it's not only round, sweet, sugary things that taste good. Is that some sushi? Oh, that's Stasha's favorite, broccoli. And then asparagus and lemons, and I see some Brussels sprouts. I had Brussels sprouts in my dinner last night. Brussels sprouts and kale and fried rice with a fried egg on top. Growing up is learning to make choices. between running and eating, for example, and having new experiences. Whoa, is that a hot pepper? Sometimes Pomelo has the feeling that he's finally understood everything, but it's probably just a feeling. He would like to know what everyone in the whole world knows, as well as everything that everyone doesn't know. There's no question. He wants to know more. Such as if a garden elephant really grows all by himself, or if everyone is connected somehow. And if in beginning to grow up, he's forgotten something along the way already. But growing up also means that when old fears return, you're able to laugh at them. Don't be afraid of a teacup. Pomelo is no longer afraid of leaving his garden. He's discovered that growing up means learning to say goodbye and being able to hear others say it too. Pomelo still wonders about many things, but now he feels big enough for a big adventure. All right, here's the last book for today, The Gruffalo's Child by Julia Donaldson, pictures by Axel, Scheffler. The Gruffalo said that no Gruffalo should ever set foot in the deep dark wood. Why not? Why not?
Because if you do, the big bad mouse will be after you. I met him once, said the Gruffalo. I met him a long, long time ago.
What does he look like? Tell me, Dad. Is he terribly big and terribly bad?
I can't quite remember, the Gruffalo said.
He thought for a minute and scratched his head.
The big bad mouse is terribly strong and his scaly tail is terribly long. His eyes are like pools of terrible fire and his terrible whiskers are tougher than wire.
One snowy night, while the Gruffalo snored, the Gruffalo's child was feeling bored. The Gruffalo's child was feeling brave, so she tiptoed out of the Gruffalo cave. The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild. Into the wood went the Gruffalo's child. Ha-ha, oh-ho, a trail in the snow. Whose is this trail and where does it go? A tail poked out of a log pile house. Could this be the tail of the big bad mouse? Out slid the creature. His eyes were small and he didn't have whiskers. Nope, not at all. You're not the mouse. Not I, said the snake. He's down by the lake eating Gruffalo cake. The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild. I'm not scared, said the Gruffalo's child. Aha, oh-ho, marks in the snow. Whose are these claw marks? Where do they go? Two eyes gleamed out of a treetop house. Could these be the eyes of the big bad mouse? What do you think? Down flew the creature. His tail was short and he didn't have whiskers of any sort. You're not the mouse. Too-hoo, not I. But he's somewhere nearby eating Gruffalo pie. The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild. I'm not scared, said the Gruffalo's child. Aha, oh-ho, a track in the snow. Whose is this track and where does it go? Whiskers at last and an underground house. Could this be the home of the big bad mouse? What do you think? Out slunk the creature. His eyes weren't fiery. His tail wasn't scaly. His whiskers weren't wiry. You're not the mouse. Oh no, not me. He's under a tree drinking Gruffalo tea. It's all a trick, said the Gruffalo's child, as she sat on a stump where the snow lay piled. I don't believe in the big bad mouse. Oh, but here comes a little one out of his house. Not big, not bad, but a mouse at least. You'll taste good as a midnight feast. Wait, said the mouse. Before you eat me, there's a friend of mine you ought to meet. If you'll let me hop onto a hazel twig, I'll beckon my friend so bad and big. The Gruffalo's child unclenched her fist. The big bad mouse? So he does exist? The mouse hopped into the hazel tree. He beckoned and said, just wait and see. Out came the moon. It was bright and round. A terrible shadow fell on the ground. Who is this creature so big, bad, and strong? His tail and his whiskers are terribly long. His ears are enormous, and over his shoulder he carries a nut as big as a boulder. The big bad mouse, yelled Gruffalo's child. The mouse jumped down from the twig and smiled. Oh, prints in the snow. Whose are these footprints and where do they go? What just happened? Did the little mouse trick the Gruffalo's child? The footprints led to the Gruffalo cave, where the Gruffalo's child was a bit less brave. The Gruffalo's child was a bit less bored. And the Gruffalos snored and snored and snored. That's a tricky mouse. He sure did outsmart those Gruffalos. All right, thanks for tuning in today. I hope everyone's having a good week with the new routine, and we hope you'll join us again tomorrow or one of the other days. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.